Hello, and welcome down to the abyssal layer of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Accidentally throw your Wii remote through the window, and then fuck. And then fuck, yeah.
Sure, but
fuck
who?
on the sofa because... Hang on a minute. Okay, one more time. Hello, and welcome down to the abyssal layer of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Accidentally throw your Wii remote through the window, and then blame your cat when your mother starts screaming at you because I, human metal, nope. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome down to the abyssal layer of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Accidentally throw your... Fucking hell, what's wrong with me today? Hang on, one more time. Last time.
You're off your groove.
Hello, and welcome down to the abyssal layer of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Shit. Down to the abyssal layer of the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. Accidentally throw your Wiimote through the window and then blame your cat when your mother starts shouting at you because I, Tokyo Choo Choo, am going to be your host today. And with me are two guys who are complete arseholes. All they do is produce shit. It's Human Metal and Brack. How are you guys this week? This month, I should say. How are you, Human Metal?
I'm fine. I'm on vacation. I can't really enjoy it in terms of game time because my parents wanted to travel and asked me if I could watch their dogs at their house. So I'm stuck here. They have shitty TVs, so it wasn't worth bringing me my PS4. So I'm kind of... My PC is not game ready yet, so I'm stuck with what's on my Switch, and that's kind of only Mario Kart 8 at the moment. So, well, aside from that, everything is fine.
I bet you're getting really good at that game, though. Jesus Christ.
Well, I haven't been here that long, but, it's only a week. But still, I could be playing something else right now. That's all I'm saying.
How about you, Brack? How's life treating you?
I'm doing pretty good, playing video games, watching movies, stuff like that. And talking about video games, you know that they say that the best things in life are free? That's not always true, because I got Knack 2 for free, and I'm pretty sure it's not one of the best things in life. In case you don't know, when Knack 2 released, Sony made a mistake. So instead of uploading the demo, making the demo free, they made the entire game free.
What?
So, yes.
That really happened?
It really happened.
Oh, okay.
So like me and a bunch of other people, they just got Knack 2, they downloaded Knack 2 for free. And so yeah, it still works, by the way. I checked it like a few days ago. It still works. Knack 2, you can still play it for free. They can't download it for free anymore, but if you bought it for free the first time, they haven't like canceled the game yet, or like canceled your whatever licensing or whatever from the game. So I downloaded Knack 2 and I started playing Knack 2, and it's more Knack. In case you really like Knack, then you got some more Knack for you. It's actually a lot better.
Well,
than the first
not a lot
Knack.
of people like Knack, right? I mean, wasn't the first game like a constant joke or something, a running gag?
It became a joke because like people ironically started treating it like the best game of all time, where it's like, Knack 2, baby, like Knack is back, and like they're like super excited, like sarcastically super excited for Knack.
Mm-hmm.
But even though it's like a pretty mediocre platformer game. Okay, the second one is actually a lot better. Because they actually give you moves. The first one, you only had like a kick button and a jump button, and that's like it basically. And now they actually give you like better platforming, and the game looks a lot better, and they give you actually some like basic combat moves, and it makes it an alright game. It looks pretty. The story is absolutely dog shit though. It's hilariously bad. It's the most stereotypically like dialogue that you've ever heard. You can literally predict every single line that will be said like throughout the entire game. And but besides that, it's an okay game. I wouldn't really recommend it, but if you can get it for free, sure, try it out.
Well, I like my knackers. So, I mean, maybe I'll like Knack. But I don't like being kicked in my knackers, so I wouldn't like to be kicked. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Kicked in my knack. He's the one. He's the one who has the kick.
He's the one who kicks.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if my knackers could kick people, that might be useful. I'm not sure why, because they wouldn't have big feet, but still, little tiny feet like poking out of your balls.
I'm not convinced if that tangent is going anywhere.
Me neither. But then again, if you think about it, if your balls got chopped off, they could run around like Cuba.
Oh wait,
Anyway.
that's how that thing in Pixels happened, right?
Yeah, I think so, probably.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
So,
why did I have to bring up that movie?
Yeah, what were you talking? Lowering the tone from Knack 2 to Pixels. Jeez, you can't go any lower.
It's hard to go lower than Knack, so I had to reach.
Although it looks like we might be able to get there on this list, but so I'm gonna talk about something good. Changing from something that's probably not good to something that is good. Although I will say, Brack, you're right. Just quickly mention the best things in life often aren't free, because I downloaded Just Cause 3, which took hours and hours to download, played it for like 3 minutes and was like, nope, fuck that. It's terrible. But hey,
it's not
I
terrible.
know people like it.
I actually like Just Cause 3.
Is it worse or better than Just Cause 2? Because I like that quite a lot.
It's a lot better, actually.
Whoa, okay.
Because I actually managed to finish Just Cause 3, which is something I never did with any of the other Just Cause games, because I just got bored before I finished it, and this one I actually got through it, even though it took me like 2 years or something.
That was the thing that kept me going with Just Cause 2 for some reason. Like, just in general, compared to a lot of other open world games, for some reason the mechanics were so fun that kept me going. So I was wondering if that was the same for Just Cause 3.
If you like Just Cause 2, you'll for sure like Just Cause 3.
Okay.
That's
okay. Well, I downloaded it for PS Plus, so I'm gonna check it out.
It's cool. I got bored before I finished Just Cause 3.
Well, you're a GTA aficionado, so.
Yeah. Well, I got bored before I finished the first mission, though. So that's the difference.
All right.
Anyway, well, horses for courses, I guess. So I'm going to talk about something that is good, which is the horror movie It Follows. Ironically, that movie was following me around because it kind of suddenly a whole bunch of things converged, and then It Follows was just in my life all over the place. So I think I had watched a YouTube video about like the best horror movies or something for the last 10 years or whatever, and It Follows was on that list. And then I went to the DVD and the DVD shop, and for some reason it was prominently featured, like, you know, in the DVD store. So it was advertised, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? I just literally saw a YouTube video about that, and then someone on OGS recommended it to me, and I was just like, wow. Apparently this movie suddenly all over the place, just blew up in my face. So I decided I got to watch that, so I watched it. And yeah, that was great. It Follows is about
Isn't it about an STD ghost? That's what I remember.
Yeah, it's about kind of like a kind of it's not. It might be a ghost. I don't know what it is. It's never really explained what it is, to be honest, which is fine. It's about an entity of some kind, a monster, an entity, an alien, a ghost. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it just very, very slowly follows you. And the way you get rid of it, or you pass it on, is by having sex with another person. So I knew that going into it. So I really thought the tone was going to be like kind of like comedic, or kind of like a sort of like very kind of sexy, or like cheesy sexy. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of naked girls or having sex with frat boys and passing it on, and people getting like murdered in like rivers of blood and stuff, like a typical slasher flick. And it was not like that at all, not even remotely. It was a very, very serious film, took itself very seriously. Was actually, pretty damn scary in points. Had a masterful level of jump scares in it, which was great. It certainly, had the knack of there's that word again, the knack of making you jump out your pants. Had a great soundtrack, good acting. I really enjoyed that film. I thought it was a very unique, well-made, fantastic horror film. Yeah.
See, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've heard the soundtrack, and it's from a group of guys who also do like soundtracks for a lot of games. Like last year, Hyper Light Drifter, and that game called Fez. the same people making the soundtrack for it. It's a really good like electronic kind of 80s throwback soundtrack, right?
Oh yes, it is, and thanks, Brack, that you just kind of reminded me by talking about that. I think that film has a lot of comparisons with Drive because it's not only does it have the same type of soundtrack, the same kind of electronic soundtrack that Drive has often, but also, well, actually, Drive doesn't have that much of an electronic soundtrack, but it feels like it's from the 80s, and that electronic soundtrack also feels like it's from the 80s from It Follows. But the camera work is the same. It has a lot of that indie kind of like static, just the camera's in one place for a long time, like, and things are just happening in like one shot. Drive has a lot of that too, and there's very, very little dialogue in It Follows, maybe even less than Drive. It's a very peaceful, quiet film, and that a lot of the acting is just communicated with people like staring at each other or forlornly into the distance. It's one of those type of movies, but it's a really good one. When they get those right, they're great. When they get them wrong, they're terrible. But yeah, I think It Follows is a really, really good kind of artsy, Kubrick-ish type horror film. I thought it was excellent. Human Metal, did you see It Follows?
No, but it's like on my backlog list. I've heard about it and it sounded interesting. Thanks for reminding me that it exists. Maybe I should, I don't know, should watch it here. I think, does it matter? I think that's not the kind of movie that I need to see on a big screen, right? Like,
no, I don't think so.
All right.
I mean, it's a beautifully shot film, but it doesn't, it's not like full of great action sequences or anything like that.
Is the sound editing really good so that it builds up atmosphere and that it would profit from good surround sound or something?
Yeah, maybe. It's
because right now I'm headphones only, so
that might help. Yeah, well,
Okay.
it's got kind of like it's definitely slow burn. Like not much actually really happens in that film. There's a lot of scenery shots and a lot of people driving or walking to places, but then it's a bit like Alien. Nothing will happen for a long time, and then suddenly it would just make you jump out your pants. Sorry if I made the listeners jump out of their pants by roaring like that. It might just pop your speakers. All right, so Human Metal. What's next on your list?
Next on my list.
First on your list.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
I'm used to going last.
Well, yeah. Well, you didn't want to, right?
Yeah, he was. I was expecting him to make a lame joke about, like, I do it with girls all the time. Oh, it's coming last. Oh, look how funny I am. Like something like that I expected from. But
He's trying to better himself.
Yeah.
Well, nobody.
No, I was gonna make that joke. I was expecting someone to crack it. Oh, that's what she said, or something like that. But no one made that joke. So the standards are slipping harshly on this show. And Human Metal obviously can't remember what his first choice, so I think I should remind him. It's Uncharted.
I know what you got. It's all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I've not been playing that much. I mean, a lot of games from 2017 are still on my list, but I've been pretty much still stuck with Persona 5 for some reason. I'm a New Game Plus on that and got like up to 150 hours on the meter there right now. But I'm not going to talk about that because that's going to come up again at our Games of the Year discussion. Pretty sure about that. And what I've been one other game I have been playing is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which is kind of like a semi-sequel to Uncharted 4, but also a side story because it doesn't feature Nate as the main character. It features Chloe from Uncharted 2 and Nadine, who was kind of an antagonist for the main course of Uncharted 4. And they're teaming up and searching for, what you would expect from an Uncharted game, some long-lost civilization and treasure. And it's connected to a bit of their past and everything. So it's their usual Uncharted stuff. It's looking gorgeous, naturally, because Naughty Dog are fucking amazing at what they do. And playing it on a PS4 Pro and on the right TV and everything. Goddamn. It's a really, really good looking game. The facial animation and everything is also top notch as usual. So yeah, great stuff. I'm kind of bummed that it's mostly set in the same like in the same area, same destination. You were pretty much in like this, I don't know, jungle rainforest types scenario for most of the game, and then you like go into the ruins, your usual Uncharted ruins, and that's pretty much it for most of the game. It's all good looking, you know, but I would have liked it to be a bit more diverse. But then again, this started as a DLC, and then they blew it up kind of to a full game. So I know why it is that way, but it's still fun regardless. It's a great fun game, and I haven't finished it yet, but I think it's a neat side Uncharted game. So yeah.
Naughty dogs are really good at what they do. I once saw a naughty pug dog like try to literally rape a toy poodle, and the toy poodle actually slipped out. It was so eager to get away that it slipped out of its leash, and they both like charged off up the street. And I just remember thinking, when finally that pug dog like backs that toy poodle in the corner, it's literally going to rape it. Naughty dogs. Brack.
Sure, maybe they're gonna make a game about that soon. I don't know.
You have A Dog's Life, remember, on the PS2?
No, I don't actually. Should I?
I played it as a kid, and it's like a game where you are a dog. You even have detective vision. Like, it was one of the first time actually with detective vision.
Wait,
where the view goes
are you trying to solve a dog murder or something?
There are like crimes and stuff, I remember. But you go in black and white, and you see like the smells and different types of colors or something.
You get to cock your leg and pee on people's cars.
I don't remember that much.
Do most of those scent trails lead to people's asses?
Or the dog's asses?
I don't remember. It's like an old ass PS2 game.
Yeah, old ass. Right.
It's definitely not winning any awards if you can't lick your own balls.
Oh yeah, that's an achievement in that game. Oh wait, it was PS2. There weren't achievements back then, but they should re-release it.
Maybe
put a trophy in there. But yeah, I don't know. You guys haven't played that Uncharted thing yet.
No,
right?
not yet. I will play it at some point. But,
yeah, once it's PS Plus. Well, that will never happen though.
No. I will get it like at some point for cheap.
I mean,
probably.
it's not full price, so that's also a boon, I guess.
I haven't played Uncharted 4 yet, so I think
God,
on my list.
Why though?
Why? Because
you're not the biggest fan of the Uncharted series, so.
No, although I did love 3. I really, really loved 3. Yeah. So, Brack, what is next on your list?
Next on my list is the new sexy, gritty show from HBO, The Young Pope. And if you've seen like The Young Pope, the funny thing about it's the marketing around it. It's like makes it look like a joke because it has like the same type of marketing they do for like House of Cards or for Game of Thrones, where they make it look all gritty and super sexy and like everybody is smoking cigarettes. But it's about people that don't have sex. You know, they try to make it look sexy. Actually, kind of looks like hilarious, and it looks like kind of like a parody of like stuff like House of Cards, but it's actually a real show, and it's actually really good. It actually is better than House of Cards, in my opinion, because the intrigue is as like interesting, but the show is much more willing to go crazy and over the top. Like there's like sequences where the Pope gets dressed. Like played by Jude Law, by the way. So it's like a sexy young Pope, even though he's like in his 40s or something, and he's balding. But still, it's he's young for a Pope, I guess. Yes. But he gets like dressed up in his Pope gear to like the background song is like sexy and I know it, and like stuff like that. And it looks interesting, like just like the visual of seeing Jude Law dressed up in the Pope gear and like smoking a cigarette at the same time, and it's like shot like an art house movie. It looks like it's fun to watch, and like the intrigue is fun, and there are moments where it just goes crazy. Like there are actually also sex scenes in it, even though it's about priests and stuff. Not sexy like the way you're thinking, with women.
Boys?
No, not with little boys. But
not what you were thinking, he said.
Yeah, I said not what you were thinking. When you're not weird. Okay.
Wow! Look how damaged the Pope, the papacy. What the fuck? I've forgotten the word too.
Nice alliteration.
Yeah. Yeah, but look how damaged their reputation is. So immediately, the normal thing to think is having sex with young boys. Says something about society there.
But it's also the main character played by Jude Law, the Pope, is not a likable character at all. Not only is he like a super conservative Pope, like they elected him because they thought he's young and he would be like the bridge between conservative Christians and like progressive Christians. But instead, he's super conservative. He's like, so you're not liking him at the beginning at all, and he's a super like diva where like he makes a point of only drinking cherry cokes. And like it makes people bring him cherry cokes, and he like like stuff like that. And he like he cares a lot about the way he looks. He doesn't want anybody to take pictures of him, but for some reason the show is still so much fun to watch. And like I said, the last half of the show that gets a lot better. He gets a lot more likable. He actually grows as a character, and that's also where some of the crazy stuff happens, where he prays a person to death at some point. Like literally, he has magical powers. he actually is like he actually talks to God. Seems like in the show, like they don't really spell it out, but with what happens, he actually is able to perform miracles at some points.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. And there's also like a scene where for some reason he tries to force a kangaroo to jump like with his mind. And yeah, like it's just filled with crazy stuff. Like half of it looks like some of the shots in the show looks like the way it's shot looks like an album cover of like a 90s rap album where he looks like all cool with his posse of priests around him. And it looks like, oh, this is like a Wu-Tang Clan helmet. The way it's shot, and it's I don't know, it's so endearing to watch. I'm not sure if it's good, but it's very very fun.
I hope it is kind of like got a more comedic aspect to it, because I hate. There's something really terrible about organized religion that I just hate. It's like for example, for me, the number one bad guy in Game of Thrones is the fucking High Sparrow. I fucking hate that motherfucker. Like it's just every time he's on screen, I want him to die.
It definitely makes it seem like pretty corrupt. Like the organization itself, a bit more corrupt, probably more realistic. I'm not sure if it actually is realistic. They also, like one of the bad guys in the show is like this allegory for like Mother Teresa, who is like a super evil nun. I'm talking about Mother Teresa in real life. She's the evil nun. The one in the show is a little bit less evil, but. Yeah, so they actually have a point about like that Mother Teresa was evil, which a lot of people actually believe because she was a horrible person. But yeah, it's a good show.
Okay. I have to say, you make me kind of want to check out the history behind Mother Teresa now.
Yeah.
It just seems
If you want the shortcut, it's that she didn't want any of the. She had like a lot of. She converted like Buddhist and Hindu people right before they died, so that's like another point for the team, stuff like that. She didn't want to give people like painkillers because their suffering brings them closer to Christ, to God. So that's why people in her care didn't get any painkillers, and in general, and she was like big friends with like small dictators. So yeah, that's kind of stuff that's pretty bad, right?
Yeah. Oh, so that's
you can Google it, you can look it up on it, but that's like one of those things that people think is like a very much a marketing ploy by the Vatican to make her look like a saint, even though in real life she was a very like flawed person.
Well, there you go. You learn something every new. There you go. You learn something new every day. Sorry, I get a bit tongue-tied there. And also, that's probably why my wife doesn't let me have the whiskey, because she wants to like make me suffer to get closer to God.
Your wife is very religious, yes.
Anyway, moving on, I'm going to talk about a TV show that I think the other two members haven't watched either, which is White Gold. Okay, currently.
Well, it's really new, right? I mean, it just dropped on Netflix or something.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was originally made by the BBC. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's available on Netflix now. I binge watched the entire 6-episode season in one night. That was fucking great. Jesus, that was brilliant. So White Gold is about a bunch of double glazing salesmen. But basically, they're up to their ass in excess because it's the 80s in the show, and it's all about like money and drugs and like, you know, doing the prostitutes and living the high life and stuff, or at least in the early part of the show it is. So basically it's kind of like Scarface. It's like a businessman version of Scarface. So the closest I can get. Where
So you mean Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, kind of. It's a bit like it's a bit like if the Wolf of Wall Street was a bunch of like Essex businessmen twats. Yeah. But however,
if you take Essex out, it's actually pretty much the Wolf of Wall Street is. Because it's about a bunch of businessmen twats.
Yes, exactly that. It's got sort of a bit of a Glenn Ross overtone to it as well, which I quite like. It's got a lot of black humor in there. It's really fun. But what happens is there's a genius shift in tone. So the first 3 episodes are all about like, you know, Flash, are all about the comedy. Like for example, there's like a 3-man team, and like the leader of the team is like the Flash guy, you know, the Flash smarmy sort of Tony Montana-ish type of guy, and then you have like the good-hearted guy, the kind of straight guy at the team, who tries to like rein everybody in and do the right thing, and then you have the third guy who's just the total comic relief, the total fucking moron of the team, who you know, it's a miracle he gets any sales at all. But like, so at the beginning it's way more concentrated on like kind of situation type comedy. However, the 4th episode in that show is like a masterpiece. I don't want to give any spoilers because in case you guys watch it, but something happens between the characters which suddenly the tone shifts, and then it's not funny anymore, which is really interesting. It's like, that's really funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, wait, that's not funny. That's not funny at all. Oh, that's fucked up. And then suddenly the 4th episode just makes you cry. And then that completely changes the game. Through the back half of the season, suddenly you got a reason to care about those characters, like to see actually what's going to happen to them, or how that situation is going to be resolved. And that's when it becomes great. It was like a sort of entertaining, very light, easy to watch comedy show, and then it switches gears, and for the back half it gets pretty intense at times, and you genuinely want to see certain characters succeed and other characters take a fall. And yeah, it's got like many heartful, wonderful moments. And in that 4th episode, there's a piece of acting, there's a conversation between 2 characters that takes place in a car. It's some of the best acting you'll see all year. It's brilliant. That one scene changes the entire season on its head. Excellent acting. I recommend watching it just for that bit of acting alone. It's fucking brilliant. So yeah, go watch it. It's very short. Only each episode is only about 30 minutes. I want to say maybe 40. I'm not really sure about that, but it's not like an hour show. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was well worth watching. And if they make a 2nd season, I'm down for that because that was great stuff. Any opinions on that?
I haven't seen
Sounds
it.
good. That's all I can say. I mean, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, go watch it. All right. On to the next thing.
Yes. Which concerns both of us, at least. And that is Sonic Mania. You know, a 2D Sonic game. And it doesn't suck. It's great, actually. And yeah, that's been coming out, I think, like 2 weeks ago or something, or 3 weeks. And yeah, it's pretty much a super cut of the Sega Genesis Sonic games. Like, you got some classic stages in there who have been remixed. You know, you got like your first and second act like in all 2D Sonic games, and then the first act is pretty still close to the original. Like, what you know, that stage, if you have played that stage in an earlier game, it's pretty close to that. And then in the second game it gets remixed or more remixed and gets crazier. And then you got some new original stages in there as well. And it's like, it's a love letter. It's a love letter to the old 2D Sonic games, and everyone who played those and loved those should love this game. And even the people who haven't played them, which is me, because I didn't have Genesis or Mega Drive, if you will, when I grew up, because I was pretty much only on the Nintendo side. I played the first Sonic like at a friend's house, and it was fun, but I didn't own any of those games. But I think it's a great platformer. It's super fun. I love the music in this game, and the soundtrack is coming out in November. It's way too long until then. I really need that soundtrack on my MP3 player. Holy shit. It's really good stuff, and most of the levels are super fun. I think they maybe should have put a different bonus game in there, like at the checkpoints where you can like enter a bonus stage. You have to like collect these blue orbs or change the colors. And I really don't like the controls in that stage, in those bonus stages. The other bonus stage where you get the Chaos Emeralds, where you have to do like the Sonic RS running thing, those are fine or at least better. But these these ball collecting stages, I don't know. Also, if you try to do too many of those, they ruin the pace a bit. So like if you go every time, at every checkpoint in one of those stages, I think the game moves forward too slowly. So, yeah. But aside from that, it's great. Haven't finished it yet, but I enjoyed most of what I played. And I imagine, Choo-Choo, since you're a big fan of classic Sonic games, this is the game you've been waiting for quite a while.
Yes. I think this was a rare game that I went out and bought day one. Which wasn't easy for me because I had to go out and physically buy a PSN card and come back to my house to do it. So it was kind of like almost going to the store to buy it. So yeah, I love Sonic. I agree with pretty much everything Human Metal has said. I also agree with you about the pacing of those fucking checkpoint things, especially because they're not Chaos Emeralds either. They're just extras that you unlock, like artwork and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you get the Chaos Emeralds from the big ring things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those are harder to find.
So I will echo Human Metal's sentiments that soundtrack is fucking brilliant. It's awesome. I want it like Human Metal when that's released to buy. I will certainly get that because I love all the music in that. In fact, some of the best tracks, surprisingly, are from the new stages as well. The new stages.
Studiopolis, right?
Tunes, yeah, it's just so good, man. Just so good. And the new stages as well, brilliant. Some minor quibbles. On my first run through, occasional stage design choices frustrated me a little bit. On the first run through. However, I've played it through to completion several times now, and now I've played it like 3 times. It's perfect. The first time there's minor quibbles like, this boss is, I don't like this boss's like pattern, yeah. Or the way that the bosses are inconsistent in that you'll have a difficult boss, a challenging boss, and you'll have like a piss easy boss.
Yeah.
And then it's really weird like that. The really difficult bosses come almost randomly. There's no scaling up in difficulty. So that's that. But again, I'm nitpicking here. All these are nitpicks. But like I say, on the third run through, I just enjoyed it for what it was. It was brilliant. And also I went in and played it start to finish as well with no save, which was awesome. Old school style. Mm-hmm. Let's see. The controls are absolutely perfect. Sonic which is something that Sega just hasn't got right for a long time since the Genesis.
They had to go to people outside of the fucking company to get it right. They had to go to the fans, which is what happened.
Sonic Generations was a great game, but even Sonic Generations didn't get that aspect of it right. Anything else? Just that last level. Oh my god. I've completed the game like 3 times, so I know my way around that last level the back of my hand. But fuck that final level the first time I went through it, because it's not clear what you have to do in the final stage. I'll save you the trouble of figuring it out, Human Metal, and tell you. Basically, without specifics, obviously, on the final level of the game, there's like 4 parts of the stage. It's like a maze, basically. And the thing is, you have to complete all 4 parts within 10 minutes, which is very difficult to do at first because it's like a maze. Like, you have to complete all 4 parts and close all the checkpoints and not die, because if you die, it resets. But the thing is, but it doesn't tell you these rules. So there's a lot of time. There's a period where you just don't really know what you're doing. you shot down one checkpoint and you die, like on the second checkpoint or whatever, and then the first one's reset, but you don't know it's reset. You don't notice for like probably the first time that you're playing, and it takes fucking ages, and you're like, I just literally can't complete this stage. What's going on? It's impossible to finish within the time limit. It really fucking stressed me out until finally the first time I did it by accident. Like I wasn't trying to do it. And then I did it by accident. I was like, okay, it's just random, like when you finish the stage. That was my opinion of that stage, which is not a good opinion to have. But then finally, after repetition, I realized, okay, this is what's happening. Like, you have to complete it within 10 minutes, all 4 checkpoints, and not die once. So there you go, Human Metal. But because they didn't introduce that aspect to it, it was quite stressful. I will say, though, the final boss is fucking amazing. It's a real handful. It's brilliant. I love the final boss of that game. I think that's probably the best final Sonic boss in a video game ever, basically. It has the best
Looking forward to it.
Final boss of that game. And that's all I got to say about it, really. Not all my things that I have to say about the game are nitpicks. I honestly feel now, having played it multiple times, that it is the best Sonic game ever made. I think it has managed to outdo the originals.
A lot of people have been saying that.
Yeah, but again, especially like on the subsequent playthroughs, because all of your nitpicks are just gone. Like after that, after you get a feel for the game, it just becomes just super fun to blow through.
That's what they call Stockholm syndrome. Oh.
No, Brack stayed up all night working on that. Give him a round of applause, people. My sides are splitting. It's fucking hysterically funny. Brack, you motherfucker. So, Brack. What's next on your list, Brack? Talking about now to something really good.
Yeah, I looked long and hard to find something worse than Sonic. And I found it, guys. I found it.
You already found it with Knack 2, you cunt.
Oh, no. Knack 2 is better. But, no. I found something much worse. And it's called The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise. And this movie is awful. Like, I don't really have much to say about it. I actually have something to say. Don't watch the movie, ever. But instead, just message me something. What's going on?
Oh,
what's happening?
Sorry, I wrote in the text that I need to take a bathroom break. I'll be right back. I didn't want to interrupt the recording. That's why I wrote it.
Well, you just interrupted it now, and I'm definitely not editing this out. But Brack, Human Metal, you won't be back because you just said I'll be right back, which means, there's going to be someone in your toilet with a knife. Probably your dog.
That's life. Shit
anyway,
happens.
I will start
on the toilet.
Literal shit happens in this case.
Right
All
back.
right. I will start over.
I said it again. Every time you say that,
I'm cutting that out. Since I'm
He's
pre-editing the shit anyway.
His cock is going to be actually like chopped off and shoved up his bum. Anyway, Brack.
That's gross. Okay, I will start over about the mummy.
The worst thing is, Brack, then he's got to poop it back out. I mean, his own cock. Pooping out his own cock. Carry on. Oh, mummy.
See, that sounds like something that's worse than the mummy. Slightly.
Yeah. Carry on.
Should I start over? I think I'm going to start over.
It's too late for that, Brack. I'm not editing any of this. Sorry for this Radiophonic Sea Creatures. You love it. You love it. Get on with it, Brack.
Okay, like I said, the mummy is horrible. Don't watch the movie The Mummy. The only thing you should watch that has to do with the mummy is watch the mummy trailer without music or sound effects, because they accidentally released the trailer for the first trailer for the mummy without having like background music or sound effects, only having the voices, and it's hilarious. Like, because you have like no sound, and then all of a sudden you hear like the really weird like Tom Cruise trying to make like a really deep like scream for like being afraid, but it looks so silly because there's no like scary music around it or like the boom like sound effects. It's just like Tom Cruise screaming like into nothingness, and it's like better than the entire movie.
So basically, it's what Human Metal's doing in the toilet right now.
Probably. Yeah, don't watch the movie. Movie is shit. Like in those DC and Marvel movies where sometimes the story takes a break and they do like some forced like franchise building. And it's like, oh my god, get on with the story. I don't really care about like you setting up the next movie. Just get on with the story. In this movie, that stuff where they try to do the forced franchise building is the best part of the movie. Not because they do it better than the other movies. It's because everything around it is even worse.
Jesus.
It's
Yeah,
horrible.
Sounds great.
It's horrible.
Of course, like everybody, I've heard really bad things about that, and it's so disappointing because not the original Mummy. Have I seen the original Mummy? I'm not sure, but the one with Brendan Fraser in the 2000s was great.
Fun.
I loved that movie. Yeah.
I even liked the second one, which a lot of people already didn't like anymore. But I enjoyed that movie.
I also enjoyed it, apart from that horrible rock scorpion thing at the end. I mean,
that was also fun because it was so bad. Like it was really
so.
enjoyably bad. Like when he dies and fucking whatever his name was, the mummy guy runs up to him, is like, no.
This is just bad.
Okay.
But that gives us a nice segue from The Rock and from being enjoyably bad. I'm going to talk about the WWE. So, hey, Brack's favorite subject. So,
The best segues here on Radiophonic Sea Creatures.
The WWE recently, in like the last few weeks, the last month maybe, has been on fire. Wow, there has been so much good stuff in the WWE, which is a massive change around because for a long time the WWE has just been sort of running on empty. Recently, I feel, but within the last month, suddenly it's must-see TV again. Jesus Christ! I mean, it's been a long time since I've actually sat down and properly watched Raw and SmackDown. But at the moment, they're doing such amazing stuff, especially on Raw, that it's hard not to watch. So I'm going to run down a couple of things that are really great with the WWE. They just had the Mae Young Classic, which was a tournament that featured 32 women, 32 of the best wrestlers from around the world. That was super fun. I watched that with my daughter, and we just had a whale of a time, especially because one of the participants was Kairi Sane, the Japanese competitor. And my daughter was all in for Kairi Sane winning the thing. That was super exciting. Great tournament. Thank you, WWE, for putting that on. It was great stuff. But what's making the WWE really good at the moment is the shoot stuff. For people who don't know what shoot stuff is, it's when real life stuff comes into the WWE and the storylines, are based on real things that are happening backstage. So usually the WWE don't do it, but suddenly in the last month they've been proper whacking on that. So there's like a storyline between Roman Reigns and John Cena right now. And they have been going hell for leather at each other verbally on the microphone, like John Cena referred to Roman Reigns' like failed drug test and stuff like that. And Roman Reigns was saying to John Cena that no matter how good an actor he is, he's never going to be as popular as good as The Rock. And his movies are basically
it's almost too real.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It really is like that. And John Cena had been saying to Roman Reigns, you're shit on the mic. You're always stumbling over your words. It sounds like you got a mouthful of marbles when you talk on the mic. Also true,
Those are all true words from each party.
Roman Reigns is basically saying to John Cena, you say you love the WWE and would never abandon it for Hollywood, but that's exactly what you're doing, you hypocrite. You're literally taking time off to go do movies now and only like coming back for big matches. Like, they've been going hook, line, and sinker at each other. And, John Cena's always been saying, Roman Reigns, you walk around the back like you own the shit, but you've only been here like a couple of years. You ain't done shit, mate. Like, it's brilliant. They're going hell for leather. It's excellent. Also, at the same time, Enzo Amore, who's like a minor wrestler, I'm sorry I'm going into too much detail here, but he's fallen out of favor because he just annoys people in the back. He annoyed everybody. He got kicked off the WWE tour bus.
He annoys people in the back?
He annoys people in the back. What do you think of yourself? Well, Brack, what he does is he takes down people. No. Basically, he's just been annoying everybody. And he got this massive public verbal dressing down by The Miz, which was quite a thing to see. The Miz literally told him the truth and was like, nobody fucking likes you in the back. You got all the talent in the world, but you just around the back, you just like run your mouth and everybody's sick of you. That's why, you know, you got kicked off the bus and you got transferred to 205 Live, and, you know, like your career is basically hitting the skids and going down the drain because you're a fucking dick. And thing is, like, The Miz is a bad guy and Enzo Amore technically is a good guy, but by the end of that segment, the crowd had turned and were just cheering The Miz because everybody knows it's true. So there are things like that that are just making it like must-see TV recently. You got to tune in to see what the hell is going to happen, like what they're going to say to each other next. Plus, Braun Strowman is amazing.
Oh yeah, he's fun.
Yeah,
I didn't take him seriously, like when he went solo, and was like, man, this baby face motherfucker.
Yeah,
he's and then that match was that at SummerSlam, where he was versus Samoa Joe and or was that Great Balls of Fire? I don't remember. Versus Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar and versus Roman Reigns, I think. That Fatal 4-Way match. That was amazing. That was amazing. That was fantastic.
That's exactly what I said. That whole pay-per-view, apart from I think there was
you won me over then.
Like the whole pay-per-view, the SummerSlam was sort of to bad, but then that main event was just so fun. That main event was everything good about pro wrestling in one match. It was brilliant. It was super fun.
Surprise moves out of nowhere, people flying through fucking tables left and right, and
Brock Lesnar getting his ass handed to him. Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
I was mad that he still won, though.
Yeah,
it's like you still can't let go of him as the unbeatable, dude.
But that's the thing, they're making Braun Strowman to the most interesting thing on WWE TV, apart from the whole shoot things, where they're like, now he's right in Brock Lesnar's face. Like, Brock Lesnar called him out to the ring recently, and he just literally came in and unexpectedly just destroyed Brock Lesnar. Like, just left him in the middle of the ring. Nice. It's so good. So I'm now they're going to fight at No Mercy. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be super fun. So WWE, thank you, doing good stuff on a hot streak. It's just
finally.
Finally, let's hope they continue. Anyway, before Brack literally falls to sleep, let's move on to what's next on your list, Human Metal?
Next on my list is something kind of low-key, and that is an adaptation of a Stephen King novel. We have had a bunch of those recently for some reason. It's like the year of King for some reason, and they haven't really been that good, up to The Dark Tower, which was also a huge disappointment to me personally, because I like that novel series, and apparently the movie was total shit. I didn't go out and see it, but, apparently it wasn't worth it. I didn't miss much. And then we got the remake of It, one of Stephen King's most popular novels, and apparently that movie is fucking great. Everybody is loving it. It's the most highly grossing horror movie of all time now. And I'm really looking forward to watching that. I'm not going to watch that at the movie theater though, because as we all know, it only takes one stupid asshole to ruin the atmosphere in a good horror movie. And I'm not subjecting myself to that risk. Anyway, the other good adaptation, because there's another one of one of Stephen King's work, is a TV show, and it's called Mr. Mercedes. It's probably kind of obscure because it's airing on like AT&T's streaming service network. I don't even know what it's called. But that's called Mr. Mercedes, and that's the first part of a trilogy about a washed out a retired cop called Bill Hodges. It's kind of, at least the first two novels are kind of like Stephen King's take on a hard-boiled detective genre, kind of. And it's very interesting. It's pretty basic. Until the third novel, there are not really supernatural elements or anything. And it's just a fun noir-esque crime story about this retired cop Bill Hodges, who has like an open case that comes back to haunt him about in this story, a guy killing a bunch of people with a Mercedes, like driving into a car, like a crowd of people at a job center. And that adaptation, that TV show is pretty damn good. Like all the characters are pretty on point. It's a fun story. Like the main character, Brendan Gleeson.
Now you get my attention.
Yeah, some people might know that he's playing Bill Hodges, and he's fantastic in that role. Also, a lot of well-known people from bit roles. The guy who played Frankenstein in Penny Dreadful is playing the bad guy. He's also really good. Bunch of really good actors in this. Mary Louise Parker from Weeds is playing the love interest. A bunch of really good actors in this. The story is kind of slow paced, but it's interesting. It's everything. There's enough stuff happening, character wise too, that it's keeping you going and keeping you invested. And it's just an all around good crime TV show, and it's entertaining and it's dark and it's crazy. A lot of scenes like the bad guy's daydreams and stuff like that are over the top. Maybe a bit too much for some people, but then again, it's a Stephen King story, so it makes sense. And yeah, it's a really good story, really good actors, and I'm really enjoying it. I hope they don't shit the bed with the ending and everything, but for now, it really surprised me. I didn't expect it to be that good, and it really is.
To be honest, if they shit the bed with the ending, it's kind of more true to a Stephen King novel. Then.
Oh yeah, that's true. Though the ending of Mr. Mercedes was one of his really good endings, so I would be surprised if they ruined that. So, judging from the quality they've been delivering with the series so far. But yeah, I highly recommend this. I don't know how long that season will be and if they will wrap it up. I think they will wrap up this part of the trilogy with the first season. Can't see them going 2 seasons with that. But yeah, highly recommend it. It's a really, really good TV.
It's insane how much Stephen King stuff is out there these days. Like, it's insane, right?
He's written a lot. It makes sense.
For some reason, all of a sudden, everything's coming back. Like, there's 3 TV shows or something about Stephen King stuff.
Yeah, one of them is good. Though there's something coming up on Netflix, I think, that is also
a movie.
Looks pretty promising. Yeah, that movie looks pretty promising.
And there's also the Castle Rock, which I haven't.
That also sounds really promising. Yes.
Which I'm kind of curious about because the guy playing It from It is also in that show, and there's rumors that he's actually playing It in that show as well.
Yeah, Pennywise. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's supposed to be like this crossover where all of Stephen King's works get together in this town because Castle Rock, this town is central to a lot of his novels anyway. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm a big Stephen King fan, so this is kind of like a good time to be alive. And finally, they're actually delivering some good adaptions after all that shit they've been going through with Dark Tower, and The Dome was also shit. They did a new TV show about adaptation of The Mist,
which looks like The Dome.
Yeah, and we didn't need that. The movie about The Mist was great, so what the fuck?
I've read The Mist. The Mist is like 100 pages long or something.
And they made a really good, solid movie and extended on that premise and everything. They really did. Frank Darabont did a really good movie of that. We didn't need a TV show for this. Why do we get that? I don't know. But yeah, he's more popular than ever for some reason right now, so we'll see. There will be probably some more good adaptions resulting from that. So yeah, looking forward to more Mr. Mercedes, to them adapting. I hope this show is successful. I don't know, but I hope they're gonna adapt the other 2 parts as well, because those are also fun, and it gets really crazy in the 3rd part. But yeah, looking forward to that.
All right, Brack, what's next on your list?
Next on my list is the game Titanfall 2, which I've finished like last week or something. Like guy probably know, it's from the creators of they used to make Call of Duty games, and now they make a game that's a lot like Call of Duty, only much better, because not only are there huge titans in there, you also have a lot of maneuverability where you can double jump, you can run on walls and stuff like that, and it's so much fun. It's one of the most fun single player shooters I've ever played. It's really the best of the blockbuster first person shooters. It's just insane amount of fun. There's a lot of cool platforming in there as well. The story is actually very enjoyable. There's a lot of interesting mechanics where they only use for a few levels. Where for this level we literally give you the power to time travel, and you travel between 2 time periods, and sometimes you have to travel in the middle of a jump, because at some point there's a fire there, and in the past there's no fire there, but the wall is gone, so you have to run on the wall, and then before you hit the fire you have to travel through time and then jump and then go travel through time again so you can land. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a really perfectly done blockbuster first-person shooter. This is everything I want out of like Call of Duty or like a Battlefield shooter, only like done at its best. So yeah, I can recommend it really, really highly.
That's cool. How's the multiplayer in that? Did you get to play it?
I played the multiplayer as well. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna like it because it's very like extremely fast-paced. This is probably one of the more as fast-paced as Call of Duty, if not more. And everybody is insanely fast because you can wall run as well. You can double jump. You have like some Spider-Man like mechanic where you can just like hook yourself up. So it's like the maps are really big and you're really fast and you die quickly. So if you're into that, which I am, you can enjoy it. But if you're not into that, then you will get frustrated a lot, I think.
I enjoyed the I played the multiplayer of the first game for a while, and I enjoyed what I played. But I'm not a multiplayer, online competitive shooter guy, so it couldn't hold my interest for that long. But I heard the campaign for the second game is really good. So what do you say about that?
That's what I said. The single player is just perfect. The single player is literally the best you can have of like this type of game. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not only in terms of mechanics and level design, but I mean, story-wise, this is good too.
The story-wise, it's not.
Not offensive.
No, but it's not going. It's not really reaching high. What it's doing is it's doing well, but it's like
it's a solid action movie.
It's like character building where you like you meet up with this new robot and you're like becoming friends with this AI while you're having like going on your mission, and they develop the characters well enough, but it's nothing groundbreaking or anything. But it's done really well. Like at no point is this game really like. Trying to reach for the stars, you know what I mean? But it tries to do it does it better than all the other games that are trying to do the same thing. So
that's cool.
I can recommend really highly. And there's one thing about the multiplayer that you might like, Chuchu, because you might get your ass killed by the other players, but they also have bots running around throughout the maps where you still can get points by just killing the bots that are much easier to kill. So you can still have like fun that way. Like even if you're shit, if it player versus player, you can still have a decent time in the multiplayer.
Thanks, Brack. So I should probably
a vote of confidence there.
The next first-person shooter I'm going to play is probably Destiny 2, because I have a couple of people who are pressuring me to play that game with them now, and it's getting good reviews. And I did really enjoy the first Destiny. The vanilla Destiny, and I finished the vanilla Destiny. I couldn't be bothered to go through any of the expansion packs or anything. But
my problem with Destiny is that everybody I know that's playing it is already so far ahead in like levels and stuff that when I join, then I really like I'm like an ant compared next to like Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like same problem. I would have to start with someone. Did you wait? I didn't catch that. Did you play Titanfall 2 on the PS4
PS4
or PC?
Yeah, PS4.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if it's so platforming heavy, if it would make more sense to play with a gamepad than with mouse and keyboard.
I really liked it with the gamepad. I didn't know how it feels with like a mouse and keyboard, but like the jumping and stuff works really well.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to bring me on to the game on my list, which is The Witcher 3. So an old game, I finally got around to playing The Witcher 3. So. The Witcher 3, that's a tough one. Like, so it's Red Dead Redemption and sort of Oblivion or Skyrim mashed together. It's I had this weird thing. I've never quite experienced it with a video game before. Like, I was in love with that game, loving the shit out of it, enjoying it completely, was totally into it. But then suddenly, my interest just fell off dramatically. Like, I think around the period where like I had done pretty much everything, I was around about level 12 or 13, 14 or something like that, and I got into Novigrad, like the main city of Velen, like the biggest city in the game, and then for whatever reason I just got fucking bored of playing it, and my attention just dropped off, and then the desire to continue playing that has not returned. Like, but the thing is, like, when I was playing it before I got bored of it, I was really, really enjoying it. like really, really enjoying it. And Gwent is like the best mini game ever. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. As soon as there's an offer, would you like to play some cards? I'm just like, yeah, shit, yes. Like, Gwent is incredibly addictive and brilliant mini game. Graphically, it's beautiful. Combat system is good. Yeah, but I just can't really explain what happened to me. But my interest in The Witcher just dropped off and didn't return. So I guess I'm gonna try to get back into it, but like, it's kind of off-putting. I just don't feel like I want to play it. Maybe I just play too much too fast and just like burn myself out.
I think that might be the case. Like, I have that feeling with like Oblivion and stuff like that as well after a while, where like I put so much time into it, and then like you just get burned out with playing it. Like, because these games like The Witcher and Oblivion and Fallout, they are insanely big. Like The Witcher is like at least like 100 hours long, right? You know what I mean? At least, and that's if you just don't even do all the side missions. That's if you do part of the side missions, and then still like insanely long. And it took me like a couple of months of only spending like most of my free time on The Witcher 3 to finish it. So like then I can understand that you can get burned out after a while if you're not having like the best time. It's also not a game that you can just like, oh, you'll play an hour here. You really have to put like a time commitment into it. But personally,
to immerse yourself.
I really loved the game, but I can understand. I finished.
Did you play any of the other Witcher games?
Me?
Yeah.
I finished 2, and I played like a little bit of 1. But
okay. I tried to get, when 2 was like out, got its its upgraded version. I wanted to get into the games, and I tried playing the first one.
Don't.
I was so turned off by.
Don't play the first one.
Yeah, and I stopped. I was like, oh god, this is horrible, and I didn't go back to it. But I mean, Witcher 3 looks so enticing. The biggest problem probably for me is that in anticipation to playing The Witcher 3 and everything, and just I listened to the original novels, and I really hated them. I hated all of the characters pretty much, and so that is now like this big hurdle that I have to overcome. Though I've heard that the characters are much differently written for the games, so that gives me a bit of hope there. So
see, that doesn't give me hope for the novels, because I've downloaded the audiobooks for some of those novels, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like another adventure with Geralt and his pals. But
yeah, the problem is that's too much detail now. Keeping it simple is just like Geralt in the books is too much of an ass. He seems to be a snarky, jerk in the games as well, but it goes too far in the books, and everyone is like him in the books, in my opinion. Everybody has like a super snarky attitude. Everyone is throwing like one-liners around and being an asshole and being like a little bitch, like every fucking one in that novel series. And then it's also how it's written. It's like you follow these characters, and then suddenly it takes like a 5-chapter break, and like going to characters you've never met before just to illustrate how the war in some part of the world is going and everything. Like, this has nothing to do with the main story. It doesn't matter at all, and you're wasting my time, and that happens way too much. So
in The Witcher 2 and 3, Geralt is a much more fun character, especially in 3, where he's making jokes a lot as well. And you actually, a lot of the center point of the story is about his like search for his like sort of surrogate like daughter. So you can actually see that he's like cares about people. So he's not just a sarcastic asshole. So it's not.
Everybody's got an attitude in that book series, and that got old really fast. So yeah, I had to force myself to listen to the final one, which I did, but still. I hope maybe you like it more than I do, because you have some experience with the games.
Did you dislike the books and listen through them all?
Yeah, because I wanted to learn how the story ends, and that wasn't worth it.
That seems like a lot of trouble. Like, if I don't like the first book, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna give it the second one a shot.
Have you heard of the term hate watching? I hate listened. So I was like, man, sucks. This is bullshit. Fuck him. And I kept on listening. So, yeah, kind of a bit of a masochism streak there.
Can I introduce you to the audiobook of Armada?
Oh yeah, that too. Right.
That was a hate listen for me. But let's get on with the show. Let's go on to the next. You're going to talk about some mini mentions or something, right?
Yes. Choo-Choo, were you finished with your Witcher 3 take?
Yeah, pretty much. I hope to return to The Witcher 3 and get back into it. It's not. I'm not saying that's the death knell for the game. But yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But hopefully, he is hoping. So, Human Metal, tell us about your mini mentions.
Yeah, the mini mentions. Another game I quickly tried out because the demo was made available after the recent Nintendo Direct is Octopath Traveler, which is by the same guys who made Bravely Default and Bravely Second for the 3DS, which are two well-regarded JRPGs. And I want to try it out because I think it looked great. And yeah, it was super fun. It's like, again, JRPG, pretty classic. Apparently in the final game, you can take control of 8 different characters who have like their 8 different branching story paths. And what most intrigued me about this game were like the art style, which is basically like this 3D environment, but all 2D sprites. And it looks like basically a 3D version of what you looked at when you played your old Super Nintendo games. And it looks really interesting. I really like the design of that game, and yeah, it's fun. It's got a fun fighting system, pretty basic, but it's still enjoyable. And yeah, enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to the full game. And the other mini one is a show I watched, which is the new DuckTales TV show. Which when I first saw the designs, I was like, yeah, these look a bit weird. But I watched the first 2 episodes, which were, preemptively released before the season is starting finally at the end of this week, like really starting off. And yeah, the first 2 episodes are super fun. Like the jokes are funny. The characters are new renditions of the characters are cool. David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck is super fun. He does a really good job. So yeah, super fun new version of that old school show. Maybe you have to take some time getting used to the visual style because it's more oriented at the original comics than at the old cartoon. Yeah, but it works super well. I think the new opening kicks major ass. And yeah, I really enjoyed those 2 episodes, and I hope the series continues on that level of quality. But for now, yeah, highly recommended. Really enjoyed that one. Cool. So yeah, those are my mini mentions.
I'm interested in DuckTales. I remember watching the show as a kid, and I remember reading the books as a kid as well. And actually, the show looks a little bit better, more like those older books where they have like a sort of like a sepia tone as well, like a little of a yellowish look. So
yeah, it's super enjoyable. You just should check out the first 2 episodes. I think they're available for free even on Disney XD's YouTube channel. I'm not sure. Maybe check it out. Yeah,
and the cast is really good. That's what surprised me. Like David Tennant.
Yeah, me too.
And there's like the guy. That's the Danny Pudi from Community and Ben Schwartz from like Parks and Recreation. Like from all other, like they have a lot of cast members from other comedy shows that I really enjoyed. So it's like interesting at least.
Yep. I mean, you got some moments where it's like, oh man, these 3 nephews, they are kids with attitudes, but it's all for the service of some joke here or there, where it's like that is turned on its head and they're shown off as like, no, you're idiots, but it works. It all works. I think those new renditions of those classic characters are super fun, especially Scrooge McDuck. He's a bunch of fun. So yeah. You should check it out.
All right.
DuckTales. Who knew? Disney can still make good cartoons.
Yeah, I would definitely check that out if I get the chance. I used to really like the original DuckTales TV show. So, Brack, what would be next on your list?
Next on my list, that's another TV show which I expected to not like. It's Legends of Tomorrow, and specifically the 2nd season, because I heard not really that much good stuff about the 1st season, so I just completely skipped it. I just started with the 2nd season. And
doesn't really matter.
No,
I mean, first season has fun parts, definitely, but the 2nd season is superior.
Actually, after I finished the 2nd season, I watched like some episodes, the one where they go to the future with like old one-armed Green Arrow. You know that one? That's one of the few I watched from the first season. But the second season is a shit ton of fun. It's like one of the most fun superhero shows there is because it completely doesn't take itself seriously.
No, it doesn't give a fuck, like, at all.
It doesn't like. It's also like with like time travel. Remind me of like I've seen in Looper, where they were talking like, okay, if you're gonna explain this, we're gonna sit here around all day trying to like draw a map with straws. So just don't give a fuck about the time travel. Like it doesn't matter. You don't need to know the rules about time travel. It doesn't matter at all. And in this show, like, I don't know the rules about time travel in this show, and I don't really give a fuck. It's just every episode they go to like a new era, like samurai world or whatever, and then they have like defeat a bad guy and they make some jokes and there's some action in there and there's an overarching plot, and it's just a shit ton of fun to watch. It's insane.
Yeah, and considering I don't know the rules of the time traveling in the show, neither see that apparently counts for the characters as well because they don't give a shit either. I mean they're traveling around time to stop stuff from changing, and in the same time they're changing so much themselves that at the end of the season how that turned out, and that's also part of the fun. But it's like it's what you want from an all-out crazy DC superhero show, which has a bunch of cameos from Arrow, from Flash. From there you get in second season you get basically like the League of Villains, which are 3 bad guys from Flash and Arrow working together.
Who are much better in this than they are in our
Yes. There's so much fun in this. You even get an episode. This is like where previously on Legends of Tomorrow that is completely narrated by those guys, and it's super fun. Like they're having so much fun with with these characters in this show, simply because the script is kind of put loosely together, and there's not that much an ending, beginning and ending point.
For example, one of my favorite characters in this season is Damien Dark, who's just really fun as a bad guy, and he was so bad in Arrow. Like I didn't like him in Arrow at all. But here,
because Arrow took him so seriously.
But here he's just like that actor is a really fun actor. I've seen him in a lot of other stuff, and he's really good. It's like an over the top crazy bad guy, and he's perfect in this, and he's just so cheesy and corny. And like one of my favorite characters is a actor who I actively dislike before this. Like I think he's a horrible actor. In most shows he's in, he's doing like a bad Vin Diesel impression or something, and that's the guy playing Heatwave.
Yes, Dominic Purcell. He is fantastic. Everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is pure gold.
He used to be, he's like a horrible actor. And in this, he's playing it so over the top. He actually plays it like a parody of like a super tough guy.
He plays it basically as a parody of his Prison Break character or something.
It's hilarious. The only thing I miss, because I watched like a few of the first season, and they have I forgot his name. The other guy from Prison Break.
Start,
I think he's called.
Yeah, Captain Cold.
And he's also extremely entertaining. I miss that they don't have him around anymore. Because
there was a lot of that in the first season, much more than so.
He plays a 20s, he does this weird ass 20s gangster accent the entire time. It's hilarious as well. But yeah, this show is over the top. It's insane. The first episode literally starts with there are musketeers and ancient France, and the female lead is having sex with the Queen of France, and they are fighting fighting people with laser weapons with their musketeer outfits, and that's in the first 10 minutes. It's just insane and over the top, and it's just a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it's a very enjoyable show.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to check that out.
I think it's on Netflix. Just saying.
Oh, it's probably not on the Japanese Netflix at the moment. The Flash is on the Japanese Netflix. Is that worth watching?
I like The Flash, but that goes uphill and downhill every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the first season of The Flash is really good, and the second and third seasons are really mixed. There are some really big highlights, but also some really big lowlights. Every time it tries to get super serious and moody, it sucks. Every time it's lighthearted and fun, and action heavy on the action, it's good stuff.
The problem is
it's a bit. It's a bit opposite. You were saying, when it's moody and dark, it sucks, but when it's full of action, it's. But it's kind of the opposite way, I think, for girls, isn't it? So,
what?
when they're dark and moody, they don't suck. But
okay, it took me a while.
Yeah,
sorry.
You got there eventually.
Yeah.
Sorry, Frank, you had a point you wanted to make.
That sounds like somebody who's never dated an emo girl, because when they're dark and moody, they definitely do suck. But
that's a goddamn true story.
like the Flash, when it's like at its best, it's about as fun as Legends of Tomorrow in like the second season, where it's like. It doesn't focus that much on like the character drama or stuff like that. It just focuses on the fun parts of like what you'd like about watching like a cartoon show when you were like a kid, like like a Saturday morning cartoon. This feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, and the best.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of
like live action. It's true.
It's kind of like the opposite to an emo girl then, because like they do concentrate on the human drama, and definitely the best part of the Flash is never mind. We're taking this too far. So we're gonna go.
We are.
I am. I am gonna come on to the next thing on the list, which is, I guess, the major thing for me this week was I went to see Alien Covenant. Literally today, actually, the day of recording, I went to see that film. So it's a little bit too fresh, I think, for me. I think because I'm such a huge Alien fan, those type of things take a while to properly sink in. But. Alien Covenant, a very, very mixed bag, very, very mixed feelings about that film. Some things I really, really loved about that movie, and some things I really, really didn't like. I would say overall, I came away from Alien Covenant.
Are we going to do spoilers?
Maybe a little, but hold on, Bragg. But I came away from Alien Covenant like a little less enthused than I came away from Prometheus the first time I watched it.
Oh boy!
But however, there are many great things to love about Alien Covenant. So I'm going to just list a couple of positives. So I loved Michael Fassbender in this movie. He's brilliant. Every scene he was in was great. His acting is fantastic, and the whole building of the alien lore in this movie I thought was great. They tried to do something different, and I really, really enjoyed David, who just plays a proper, fantastically evil character in Alien Covenant. So I guess that is kind of a spoiler, although he was already kind of bad in Prometheus. But in Alien Covenant, he properly goes for it and is properly like a nasty psychopath, and it's just so entertaining to watch him smarm around. It's just great fun. So loved that. Loved the building of the lore as well. I like the general plot and story of Alien Covenant. I think it goes for sort of more grand ideas, and I think they pulled it off with that. However, ironically, one thing I didn't like about Alien Covenant was the alien. Anytime the xenomorph was actually attacking people, or when it went into normal alien territory, I think it was definitely at its weakest when it was doing that. It fell into
too much CG, or
too much CG, and sometimes that CG
it feels too much like a slasher movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a horror movie, a slasher movie. Like it feels like it's like a Jason Voorhees type movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does feel about it. Does.
There's literally a moment where the alien kills people while they're having sex. It's so it feels like a teen 80s horror movie in that ways.
Also, Ridley Scott sort of broke his own best rule in the first Alien film by showing you way too much of the alien, way too much. It's on camera a lot of the time, doing too much, and the action scenes are generally like the type of action scenes where you can't really connect anything. There's a guy and he's waving a gun around and he's shooting at things that are jumping, and then he dies without putting up too much of a fight. There's no tension in the action scenes. It's like the alien arrives, jumps around a bit, someone dies, that's it. There's no real tension there. There's no build up to anything in that film with the alien scenes. So I feel that part of the Alien film, which is a crucial part, is quite disappointing. But the drama stuff, the world building stuff is pretty great. It has the Prometheus type thing going on for it, unfortunately, with the characters that I can't remember anybody's fucking name in that film. And Like, some characters only have like literally one line before they die. Like, you're just like,
Great.
there's no character building in that film at all. These
Hey,
characters are
some
dying.
characters actually don't even have a line before they die.
That's probably true. I think that
Can
might.
can I give a spoiler? I'm gonna give a spoiler. All right.
Okay.
Spoiler warning for like 1 minute. There are I'm gonna give my list of things I liked and things I disliked. All right. Things I liked. They killed off James Franco in the first minute. Things I disliked. The rest of the movie. Okay. But no. It was kind of I dislike. It's hard to say. I think I liked Prometheus better in some ways, because like at least Prometheus, the interesting parts of Prometheus were that they asked interesting questions, even though they didn't answer any of them, or didn't even discuss them, or didn't do anything interesting with them. But the questions themselves were kind of interesting, and it looked very pretty. Like Prometheus had like a lot of cool locations, and it looked very pretty locations, and it definitely had a bigger budget than Covenant had. So I think like Covenant doesn't look as pretty. That's the main reason why I think I dislike Covenant a little bit more, I think. But Covenant's a lot more action heavy though. So
Yeah.
they're both not great though. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like Prometheus a bit, and I get the feeling that after a couple times, like maybe Covenant will grow on me, but I would say at the moment I'd rank it like my Alien ranking would be obviously Alien 1 and 2, like easily the best still, and then under that maybe third place just by the skin of its teeth Prometheus, and then Alien Covenant just slightly under that, but it's still way better than the dog shit like Alien 3 and Resurrection and AVP and AVP2.
Okay.
There's a place in hell.
I was question.
For that.
If you put games on the list, would Alien Isolation would be third, right? Alien Covenant and stuff like that would be way below those things.
Oh yeah, Alien Isolation is right up there with Alien and Aliens. Like that's a perfect example of like a thing from the Alien franchise. Yeah, so definitely, there's no way Alien Covenant is as good as Alien Isolation. No chance in hell. Or Prometheus, for that matter.
So Alien Covenant, in my opinion, was just like alright slasher movie with some interesting like cinematography and some fun acting by Michael Fassbender, but beside that there was not that much interesting about it.
I liked the world building of it, and that whole sequence in the dead city. I really enjoyed that stuff. I thought that was a cool location. I thought Michael Fassbender was brilliant in it. However, one thing I will say, the final twist of the movie, which I'm not going to spoil for you, Human Metal, but the fucking most obvious twist in the history of cinema. So how can anybody not see that twist immediately? It's just like, oh, come on.
How can the other characters not see the twist? Because there were like some obvious giveaways that they should have known about it as well. But
I'm not sure about that. I could see how he could fool the crew at the end of the film, but you as the audience just immediately is like, nope. I see what's happening here. And yeah, okay. And then finally when that reveal comes, it's just like, oh, come on, you didn't even need to build up the tension. It was so fucking obvious.
The only thing I kind of like the cinematography. I think I recommend, if you enjoy the movies or don't enjoy the movie, there's a good video on Vimeo about like the Alien Covenant art references, where they compare like shots from Alien Covenant to like the art pieces that it's definitely like resembled, that there was like inspiration for that shot. So there's like some interesting stuff going on in like the cinematography, but overall I didn't enjoy it that much.
Nice audio callbacks as well. The music was often taken directly from the original Alien. That was a nice little touch for Alien fans, having the soundtrack of the original film in there. That's pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna come off that. I'm looking forward to seeing Alien Covenant again, though. I kind of want to get more into the meat of it. So finally, what's on your final? The Drunk Time has a.
What's on your final burp?
Yeah, what's your final burp, Human Metal?
I got no burp on the roster, I'm sorry. But the final blurb is on pretty much all of our list. and that is Marvel's Defenders, which is like this big culmination of, the Netflix Marvel TV shows, meaning Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and that fucking green stupid mountain ninja. They're all.
I wish he
pretty
was
much
green though. Like at no point does he actually have like the green clothing on it at all.
Yeah,
they used the clean lighting like in the background.
Yeah, that's the dumb thing. Like,
but they never put it in his outfits, which I think is just like.
Like none of the characters. Jessica Jones is also like they use the color coding. Like if one character is like. If the story moves to one of the characters, like, and the other characters are not in it, they got like a specific color set up for that character. So for Daredevil, red; for Luke Cage, yellow; for Jessica Jones, I think it's purple or blue.
Purple.
And and then then for Iron Fist, it's green. Yeah, and besides Daredevil, sometimes, and Luke Cage wearing a yellow shirt under his normal jacket. They're not really using those colors, so that didn't make any fucking sense.
At least in Jessica Jones, it's a callback to like the Purple Man, who was the bad guy. So there's like there is something there, but with Green, Iron Fist, not Green Arrow.
I wish.
With Iron Fist, there's like the green is the color for his comic, for his outfit in the comics, but he doesn't even wear that outfit in the show. So
I wonder why. I mean. God damn it. But they're meeting up pretty much different cases that lead them to each other, but eventually it turns into a battle against the Hand, those evil ninjas that have been set up in Daredevil and have been used, in Iron Fist as well. And it starts out pretty good, in my opinion, like when the characters meet up first and they, clash with each other first before they become friends. I think it's pretty good. I like how the friendship between Iron Fist and Luke Cage develops, as it should in the comics. They start out not really liking each other first, but then like they quickly, become fond of each other, and it's pretty cool, like seeing those two actors work together. That worked pretty well in my opinion. But then the show kind of, gets procedurally less interesting, especially when the kind of main villain exits the stage and gets taken over by a character we have seen before and who gets resurrected for the show, and who already in the show the character was in before was the least interesting part of that show, of that season. So, I wasn't too fond of the ending, and also they were running out of money by the end, I think. The fight scenes get procedurally worse too. In the beginning, there's like a really good hallway fight scene, like with all of the characters in like this business building, and that looked really fun and really good. And the series never gets as good again as that, action-wise and camera direction-wise and everything. So that's a shame too.
I hated as well, because in that hallway scene, like there's a cool overall fighting scene, and every character has like their moment to shine. Like Danny does like the part where he punches through like this to the sword that Elektra uses. And Luke Cage has this point where he uses his body as like a bulletproof shield to protect like Danny. And Iron Fist does some cool shit as well. Daredevil does some cool shit as well. So they all have like their moments to shine. And then the later fights in the last two episodes are all in like extremely badly lit hallways or an extremely badly lit dragon cave. And it just looks bad.
In the garage.
Yeah, you can't see what's going on. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like people punching, and there's more punching. Oh, there's this guy. It's also punching people, and they're punching again. And you can barely see that they're punching, and that's all. That's all this is going on in those fight scenes. Even putting the Wu-Tang Clan music over it doesn't make it interesting in that scene.
No, it made it worse.
I kind of, for my 2 cents, I enjoyed the show, but I think I have a much less critical tolerance for TV shows, I think, than you guys do. But I just enjoyed it as basic, fun entertainment.
Tolerance, you mean?
Yeah. Well, yes. Less of a critical. No. Yeah. Yes. A much higher critical tolerance. Yes. Don't talk to me about grammar, young man.
So, I'm not that much younger than you.
But well, you got hair. You just look younger than me. So. I basically, I just enjoyed it as basic entertainment. I thought some parts of it were really fun, specifically the relationships between the characters. Like you guys, I think it kind of jumped the shark a little bit at the end with all the action sequences that didn't really feel much. Also, the stakes were quite low. I think in the Defenders, because like the bad guys, they, like you say, it was just like punchy, punchy, punchy. Never really did they really feel threatening. Not
because
really.
they're constantly fighting among themselves.
Yeah,
And
so
then
But
they
also
don't
because whenever there's like, oh, he's so threatening, they get killed easily. Like,
yeah.
like the one
Yeah.
dude was like, he makes this entire speech about how he's threatening and stuff like that, but then he gets like a second later, he gets his head cut off.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
if you really think about it, I mean, what's the worst thing that happened to the Defenders in that season? Danny got kidnapped, but then kept alive. That was it. That was like the worst thing that happened to them. Like that, there was no.
Well,
real,
and
I
a
don't
certain
know,
character
yeah,
gets
like,
her arm cut off. Yeah.
That's actually interesting. Like, I think that
semi-major character gets murdered as well. Does actually die.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
But it was kind of his own fault. So
yeah.
he's gonna be big. But like, I still have hope for future seasons because
Yeah, me too.
a lot of the mistakes from this are because of the bad guys in the Hand. The Hand are so boring in this show.
oh yeah.
And like they brought back like Bakuto, which is I think he's the worst actor of Iron.
Oh yeah. Oh god, he
That's
is.
saying a lot.
Totally.
Oh.
He looks like he's the type of guy who should be like serving you coffee at Starbucks, and even then he's a douche.
He was the worst actor in Iron Fist, and that's saying a lot.
I remember
I mean-
I remember in Iron Fist where I thought he was playing like a blind guy because he was like not looking. He's just looking in the distance, like with like a blind stare the entire time. I was like, oh, he's like a blind samurai like type character. And then, that took me like multiple episodes to realize he can actually see because I thought he was blind for like the entire season. So yeah.
I think the best thing on Defenders again was Rosario Dawson.
Really?
She's pretty much the best thing in all of the shows
Really?
she's in. Like, well, she's fun and she's heartwarming and she's like the thing that glues all the shows together because she's in every one of them, and I think she's just likable. And
I
don't agree. I think, ironically, I think she's white bread.
I actually
She's
think
very bland.
okay.
the best episodes are like the fight where there's the huge fight scene, which I think is episode 3 or something.
Yes.
And the
Hey, Iron Fist can actually fight and do good moves if he got, a good choreographer. Who knew?
but like
He wouldn't know
Iron-
it from his own show.
fall back from that episode I thought was entertaining as well, where like they were in the Chinese restaurant, and I actually I enjoyed the characters interacting with each other. Like they have some cool fun backs. Like the character playing Jessica Jones is hilarious. Like she has like the fun callbacks, talk shit to everybody, stuff like that. And they like, I can see them hang out as a group and it's entertaining to watch, but they never even do that much. Most of the time it's
they
like,
should have done that more.
cut out in
normal
like
stuff.
packs of 2.
Oh my god! Oh, you just reminded me of something that I thought was really funny, and once you notice it, you just can't unnotice it. Okay, so the Iron Fist, right, grew up in Kunlun, and I assume he spent his entire, time like eating rice and stuff and food with chopsticks. Oh my god! In that Chinese restaurant, he can't use chopsticks for shit. Watch his technique. His technique is so bad. He's almost dropping every single thing he ever picks up. It's hilarious. But
Maybe that's where bad
That
guys.
extends to his fighting. To his fighting.
Maybe those guys were evil monks, and he had to force them. They forced him to eat with his hands or something.
But however, it's bettered. If you want to see the worst chopstick performance of all time, go back to Luke Cage. There's the police officer, the partner of the girl who goes on to the Defenders, who gets shot and killed in Luke Cage, right? Do you remember him? There's a scene where he's eating Chinese takeaway in the police station. Basically, oh my god, he can't even hold the chopsticks, let alone eat with them. Basically, he's basically just jamming them into the thing, like mixing it around. It's hilarious. Things like falling off his. This is brilliant. That is the worst ever chopstick usage I've ever seen in anything ever. It's hilarious. It really is funny. And the thing is, you can see the actor's struggling with it as well. Like he's trying to say his lines, but you can see his attention's going back to the chopsticks every now and again.
Yeah, he's just too used to like eating big Kahuna burger and getting shot by Samuel Jackson, because that's the actor, right? He's the guy who gets shot by Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Also, I really didn't like Misty Knight, because like all her lines are basically, "I'm getting too old for this shit." That's good. They could replace all her lines in the entire season. Defenders, but her saying, "I'm getting too old for this shit," and it would like not change a thing.
Also, it always baffles me. I know they're trying to go like the semi-realistic route. But at some point, you gotta throw that out of the window when you got a fucking mystical ninja who tore the heart of a dragon out of his body to get his superpower or something. And, you know, it's in the same universe that whole New York was invaded by aliens, and they still have problems believing in, like, people with superpowers and supernatural stuff. That always bugs me when it's like, "Oh, what, you're full of shit. I don't believe you." When they start talking about this stuff, that you probably have seen a fucking alien face to face. Get on with it.
I could kind of understand with the mystical stuff, because there's a difference between like science fiction and mystical stuff. Like Luke Cage, it's far fetched, but it's because of like scientific experience that he's that way. And like aliens, that is also like something that's more realistic than dragons in a way, but it's still like, the way they're not really willing to believe it is kind of ridiculous.
We also have a problem believing in Daredevil's powers. This is also scientific based, kind of. So
yeah, that's
I don't know.
That's weird. That is weird, because like that's nothing. Like that's not even that weird. He's a blind guy who can like kind of see with sound waves. That's not that weird.
He has super hearing and super sense of feeling, and I don't know, some kind of echolo, like radar sense, sonar, whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's not that weird at all. Every other character in that show has like a way weirder backstory.
Yeah. So.
One thing I personally liked in the Defenders was the kind of the redemption, a little, I guess, of Iron Fist. So I thought he was much more entertaining here, and I love the way that the other characters interact with him, because he is just kind of like a generally annoying character, who has. Who, like I said when we were talking about Iron Fist in the past, seems a bit like a retard, to be honest. But
he's a naive kid character, like not world savvy at all.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's also always annoying.
I love the way that the other characters sort of treat him a bit like an annoying idiot.
They're treating him like the fans treated his show and him in his show. So
but
it feels like Netflix is on a joke now.
Yeah, but that works, because
like
in his own show he's supposed to be like the heroic character, and it doesn't work at all. But here he's supposed to be like the teenager among people in their 30s. You know, but I feel like they all feel like they're much older and much more like they feel like parents almost to that character. You know what I mean? They're like, they kind of need to take care of him because he doesn't know how to take care of himself. And that kind of
Luke
works.
is the big brother. Yeah. And Jessica and Matt are the parents. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Jessica's
it worked. I think it that also worked so well because he got abducted like after half of the episodes, so he wouldn't overstay his welcome. So maybe so you were stuck with the rest of the characters who are more, who are better. So I guess that was a good thing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. So hopefully, I think like you guys mentioned, maybe I got faith. Maybe they're gonna pick it up and push it further, make it better. I think round it off in the next season. Before then, the Punisher to get through. Before that,
we get Punisher season 1, which is hopefully going to be great. We get a new season of Daredevil. We're gonna get a new season of Jessica Jones. I think Punisher and Jessica Jones are coming first. I'm not sure.
Punisher's first for sure, I think.
Yeah,
they're still coming this year. I think
it is.
Yeah, and looking forward to that, definitely.
Yeah, I think
Punisher the most.
I think we all are. But hey, that's probably going to wrap us up. That's probably going to bring us on to the end of this week's visit to the ocean floor. So please join us next time. Human Metal actually mistakes his dog for a mop and literally mops his floor with it. That was an awful outro. I haven't written anything down. I'm not going to lie to you.